and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jess and I have a range of content on my channel ranging from reading to project planning, makeup. Today's video is going to be all of the books that I read in 2022. My Goodreads goals for 2022 was 45 books, just to maintain that I still kept reading this year. And I'm really proud of myself to say that I read 54 books this year. I read a lot of romance or fantasy romance. And I also want to say that my overall average rating this year was 3.9 stars, which is so good. That means that I was averagely reaching for 4-star books on average. And that makes me really happy because it means that I've been picking up books that I'm genuinely interested in, that I genuinely think I'm going to enjoy. And that is really good, I think. The order that I'm going to go in is the ones I finished most recently first. And then I will go to the ones that I started like in the very beginning of the year last, just because that's the way that I've built my book stacks, and it'll be backwards if I try and unorganize it to go the other way. So yeah, let's just go straight into this video. I'm not going to talk about every book because this video will be so long if I did, but I may give you like a short review or my star rating. First things first, we have The American Roommate Experiment by Eleanor Armas. This was such a great book. I loved her other book, The Spanish Love Deception, this year, and I read it all in one night. This is a definite 5-star. I just really like the way that she writes her like romance, and I really liked the kind of interaction between these two, and I loved the ending. I was a little bit worried about the ending, but it came together in the end. Then I listened to Nevermore and the Trials of Morrigan Crow. I listened to this on audiobook with my library app, or started rereading, should I say, the Shatter Me series. So I started the first 3 books back in this world. So I've read Shatter Me, Unravel Me, and Ignite Me, and I just love this series. It's given me all the nostalgia back from the time that I read it. I mainly rate these on joy. I read Meet Me at the Wedding. This was one that I borrowed from one of my housemates. I really enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it that much, to be honest, though. It was the last in the series. I think I gave it 3 stars. I'm planning on continuing the series, but if I don't continue it in 2023, then I don't think I'm going to continue it. I do like the way she writes, however, I just didn't find it had as much depth as some of the other romance books I've read and really loved this year. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Absolutely loved this so much. Yes, this is my second Emily Henry, I believe, and I just adored this so much. The Roommate by Rosie Danan. This had such an interesting storyline, and it mentioned a very kind of unspoken about niche area, like unspoken job area, and I really enjoyed this. I love this story so much, and I would recommend this to people. It is quite steamy, and it's not what you would think. I really enjoyed it. I can't talk about the accuracy of the job that Josh, the main love interest, has. But I'd really love to know if this is an accurate story of what the industry is like or not. Pestilence by Laura Tharassa, the first in the 4 Horsemen series by her, which is the last of her backlog that I'm reading, because I've read pretty much every other series, fantasy romance series that she has brought out, so I want to read this one as well. Not my favourite series from her, to be completely honest, and this first book was not that strong. Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J Maas, the 3rd book in the ACOTAR series, and you'll see that I started this in January. Obsessed. Read Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. We all know I have conflicting feelings about this book. The entirety of the Coverted series by Laura Tharassa, all back to back. That's the Coverted, the Unearthly, the Cursed, the Forsaken, and the Damned. I also read The Spanish Love Deception by Eleanor Armas, and we all know how that ended up because I had read this before I read The American Roommate Experiment. Gave this one 5 stars. I also read One True Loves by Taylor Jenkins Reid through my library, and I thoroughly enjoyed that one as well, which has definitely led me to want to read more Taylor Jenkins Reid books. I read Laura Olympus Volume 2. Oh my god, I feel like I've talked about this a lot, but this graphic novel just impeccable, and I can't wait to get my hands on Volume 3. I read One Wild Weekend with Connor by Lexi Hart. Just Like Home by Sarah Gailey. I still love this book. I still feel like kind of like an attachment to this, but the ending of this was disappointing to me. I listened to the audiobook of The Invisible Life of Adelie Rue by V. Schwab, and I honestly think I would have DNF'd this book if it wasn't for the fact that I was listening to it on audio. I tried to pick it up multiple times physically reading, and I just kind of dropped off, but by audio book, this lyrical type of writing really works for me, so I really enjoyed that. Black Butler Volume 2, also Wilder Than Midnight by Kerry Bernal. The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. The Invisible Girl by Lisa Jewell. This was really good actually. I'm super intrigued to read more by her. The Fae and the Fallen. The Secret History by Donna Tartt. This was a struggle to get through, but I also really enjoyed it at parts. It's very strange to explain. I was enjoying majority of the book, and then the last kind of like 50 to 100 pages were just felt a bit like a drag, to be honest. Beach Read by Emily Henry, my first ever Emily Henry book. Picked this up when I was in America, hence why I've got the American edition. Loved it so much. Pages & Co, Tilly and the Book Wonders. I'm so going to continue this middle grade series. I think it's phenomenal. I really enjoyed this. I was so captivated by this. My niece loved this as well. Twisted Love by Anna Huang. This is not the best romance read that I've read this year. However, I still did rate it quite highly, I think. Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. I really loved this. This was my first kind of like rom-com romance book that I picked up. I read this on holiday by the pool and it was just perfect. Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney. I did not realise that I read this so like early on in the year. But yeah, I really love this. The lack of punctuation around the speech, like lack of speech marks, actually did not bother me at all. It kind of just read how you would read it in your mind still without those there to guide you, and I kind of enjoyed it. Take a Hint, Dani Brown by Talia Hibbert. Oh, love this. I should have finished this series this year, to be honest, but I just didn't get around to it. But I would definitely be finishing that series in 2023. The Virgin Suicides by Jeffrey Eugene. This was one that was just out of my comfort zone. I brought it in Brighton, I read it straight away, and it was just really good. Dark Harmony by Laura Tharassa. I actually have the bind up, not the physical book, so I just have like the literal bind up from Amazon. Which is chonker, let me tell you that. Lolita by Vladimir Novak. We all know I have some strong opinions on this book. Corrupt by Penelope Douglas. This was a really hard one for me to rate when I read it, because I kind of like, the kinky scenes were great, but the whole premise storyline was really bad and so toxic. Oh my god, near the beginning of the year I read volume 1 of Lore Olympus because my boyfriend actually gifted it to me. And guys, my life is forever changed now. I now always go to the graphic novel section in Waterstones just to have a look to see what's there, see if there's anything similar, see if they've got anything else. It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I actually do own the book of. I've actually lent it to my eldest sister at the moment. A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J Maas, the second book in the ACOTAR series. House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J Maas this year, which I thought I read that last year, but it's on here for this year. It's The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and this is a duo writing team, and I really enjoyed this book as well. Really great romance. Emperor of Evening Stars by Laura Tharassa was the third book in the Bargain series. Loved it so much. The Hating Game by Sally Fawn. I feel like I'm the only person that disliked this book so strongly, but I just cannot get behind this book at all. Strange Hymn, I also love, second book in the Bargain series. Oh, phenomenal. The Casino King by Rebecca Cannon, sorry. Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I really enjoyed this, but I am having the struggle of eternity trying to read the second book in the series. Then I read a smutty book, Dr. Daddy by Crystal Monroe. The Boy Who Lived with the Dead I read from my library, and I really enjoyed it actually. These Violent Delights by Chloe Gon. I think I'm the only one that hated this book. To Have and to Hold by Donna Allen. Really good. She's a great smart writer. And then I started off the year starting the series with ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas, as you've seen the other two books earlier on, but this was the first book that I read in 2022, and this really set my year off to a banging start, starting off the year with a 5-star read. And those are all 54 books that I read in 2022. So happy. This is probably the most books that I've read since I started tracking my reading on Goodreads. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe if you're new to it. I'd like to see more videos from me, and I'll get you guys all in my next one. Bye!